everyone. Today we're going to be talking about enhancing the participant experience at Pitt Dance Marathon and how we used our participant feedback to do that this year. My name's Emily Mitchell. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the incoming director of operations for Pitt Dance Marathon.
My name is Claire Emsch. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the incoming president of Pitt Dance Marathon.
So just a general overview of our presentation today. We'll give you an overview of our specific program for anybody that's not familiar with it. We'll talk about our event changes year over year, what we did specifically this year. We'll talk about participant feedback, how we gather it and implement it, and our color war system, our PDM traditions that change year over year, and how other programs can incorporate similar changes.
So a little bit about our program, Pitt Dance Marathon, often acronym to PDM. We are located at the University of Pittsburgh, benefiting the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh's unrestricted fund, which means the money goes anywhere that the hospital needs it. And we have a spring main event. Every year, we usually run our event towards the end of March. We are currently in our 10th year as a student organization, but in the past 9 years, we have raised over $2 million for Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh.
All right, so to start off, we'll be talking about our event changes year over year, what changes we made specifically this year, and how they improved our main event. So first off, the sprint model. This is something that our executive board learned about at DMLC last year. It's the idea that a dance marathon main event should be a sprint rather than a marathon. By reducing our main event from our typical 12 hours to 10 hours, we were able to maximize the time that we had to create the most engaging and exciting event possible for our event participants. This change overall resulted in a fundraising increase of about 5% or $17,000, as well as overall higher participant engagement throughout the day with our activities, crafts, onstage activities, competitions, all of that good stuff, with 79% of participants receiving day of donations. With very little downtime, participants stayed more engaged with event activities, and overall, our PDM staff observed a significant increase in the number of participants engaging in fundraising pushes, onstage activities, etc.
So the way we went about gathering our participant feedback from the previous year's day of was through two different main methods. We used surveys. So at the conclusion of each year, we have our operations panel send out a survey via email to all registered participants and team captains. And the responses of these surveys help us begin to plan for the following year, give us insight into the likes, dislikes of our participants, our families, our staff, anyone who attended our main event. They can give as much feedback as they wish as to the things that they would prefer to see next year, or maybe things that they didn't enjoy as much. So for example, our silent disco was frequently mentioned as an exciting, engaging event in last year's feedback surveys. So we made sure that at the beginning of last year, that was a key thing that we were going to implement again into our day of activities for our participants. And we also received a lot of verbal feedback throughout the end of the year, our summer and early fall time as well. One participant compliment that we received from this year: in my 4 years at Pitt and participating in PDM, this is hands down the most engaging dance marathon day of I've participated in. It makes me wish I wasn't graduating this year. So comments like that always warm our heart as a staff and executive board, that people are really enjoying our event and they want to see more of what we can do. So after we take the participant feedback, we obviously want to utilize it and make sure that our event is as efficient and engaging as possible for next year. So we implemented this in 3 different ways this year. Our first one was to introduce new activities. We found that a lot of people had really great suggestions, either from the verbal feedback or the surveys that we received. So some of the things that were suggested was a Miracle Kid welcome tunnel, where we had all of our participants and staff line up and create a human tunnel for the Miracle Kids to run through onto our stage, where they were applauded and cheered for. And it was a really, really sweet moment. And I think they all felt super welcomed. We had a Cotton Eye Joe competition, which kept all of our participants super active for a long time, keeping everyone engaged near the stage. It was really great. And we also added an additional silent disco to our shifts this year because of the insane increase of positive feedback we received from our last year's event. We also made sure to maintain our original and annual traditions, such as Circle of Hope, which is the end of our event where we recognize all of the hard work that we've done throughout the year and the day, recognizing our families and all of the kids that we fight for at the Children's Hospital. We also have miracle families who come and talk to our participants and staff every year about their journey through the hospital and how their kiddos are doing today. We also have rave hour to get everybody on their feet and cheering, as well as our lip sync battle, which is super popular amongst our color teams, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then we also had some sort of median shifts as well, where we were pivoting in event. So at times throughout the day, we had our leadership team notice the crowd engagement and energy was a little bit lower at times. So as a team, we were quickly able to come up with solutions to help boost engagement. Little 5 to 10 minute activities that got people moving and back in engaged with everyone that they were supposed to be around. So we have fundraising pushes, scheduling tweaks, and on-stage competitions during transition periods, which we also got a lot of help from our production company, which we'll also talk on later.
So one of our big ticket items this year that was brand new to PDM was Color Wars. So Color Wars was introduced to PDM after our leadership team identified a need for more engaging forms of participant involvement. Under this system, participants are divided into 7 different color teams, and they compete for points throughout the spring semester and throughout day of specifically by participating in various activities. So the main idea of our Color Wars program, it serves as an avenue for every participant to engage with programming despite their level of participation. So whether you're on a donor drive team or registered as an individual, you get the same opportunity to engage with our programming. It also helps participants find their why to draw a closer cause connection with our kids and just with the Children's Hospital as a whole. And then last but not least, it encourages collaboration and friendly competition between participants. So as for the logistics of Color Wars, how it's planned and executed, each team registered in Donor Drive gets assigned to a larger color team, and the same thing happens with everybody that's just registered as individuals. And then during our main event, participant shirt colors correspond to their color team. So even if everybody there doesn't know everybody on their color team, they know, oh, that person's on my color team, even if I don't know them personally. The color teams compete for points at the beginning of the spring semester to build excitement for the main event. And then that runs into the main event as well. So specific activities and tasks are assigned a point value, for example, early registration, push day attendance, and a lot of other things. Going along with Color Wars, miracle posters and welcome tunnel, something that Claire talked about a few slides ago. This is something that was introduced brand new this year based on participant feedback. So during the early hours of our event, each color team collaborated to create a poster for one of our miracle children that they would later hold up during our Miracle Kid Welcome Tunnel to show their support for our miracle kids. This project was a huge success, and it helped our participants further develop their why. They got to connect directly with our miracle kids. They got to some of the miracle kids even got to help make the posters, and then at the end of the event the miracle kids got to take the posters home with them, so that was a really sweet moment for everybody. And then also going along with Color Wars, interactive activities are something that we focus on every year and adapt to feedback each year. So our operations team was able to recognize some crowd favorite activities as well as brainstorming new ones. So first of all, our silent disco. Silent disco is a huge success in 2023. That was the first year that we introduced it. We only had 1 shift, but everybody loved it. So this year we included 2 silent disco sessions into our programming to boost participant engagement. And then lip sync battle is a PDM crowd favorite year over year. Lip sync battle allows participants to showcase their excitement for our main event, as well as compete for Color Wars points. That is facilitated by our stage and event partner, Fireside, who we'll talk about in just a minute. And then our Cotton Eye Joe competition was brand new this year. Our last one, Cotton Eye Joe competition, gave participants another chance to engage in onstage activities, as well as show their excitement for our main event.
So we've been using Fireside Events as a local event production company for the past few years. Their team shares a deep love of music production, performance, and planning. They have been such a huge help for us year over year, maintaining participant engagement and coming up with new ideas for our operations committee, and just overall being really, really engaging with our staff and wanting to come and do all of our events for us. Their lead guy who runs the company. His name's Eric. He's actually a Pitt alum, and he loves our team so much, and he's always eager to spread our message to everyone that he works with, everyone in the community locally who knows him is always speaking very highly of him, and we think he's fantastic. The whole company just loves PDM's message, and we find them super helpful every year. So they do a lot of things for us at our day of event. We make sure to spread their message as well and make sure that we are super thankful for them year after year. So what they do for our main event, they're obviously our event sponsor. So we get a production package discount, which helps us pick out certain things that we want to see year after year to make our event more special. They provide our stage, lighting, sound system, photo booth, and light up platforms, which we actually added more of this year, which we found was super engaging with our participants. They provide all-day DJ and MC services. Eric is actually one of the MCs, so he's always there, chatting with our participants, making new friends with the Miracle Kids, and they absolutely adore him. And we get live DJ channels during both silent disco sessions, adding energy and excitement to our silent disco. So there's 3 different channels. Participants can choose which one they want to listen to, choose a different one than their friends, the same one as their friends, and there's a whole lot of singing and dancing going on. And it just makes a super great environment.
So in addition to all of that, all of the new changes that we introduce every year, PDM, above all, is a student organization that's rooted in participant engagement and connection. So it's crucial for us to be able to maintain yearly traditions as our event grows and changes. While these are referenced as traditions, they do adapt to participant feedback each year. So they have grown since PDM became a student organization. So first of all, our rave hour is held during the last hour of our dance marathon. It basically celebrates our year-long fundraising and planning efforts. It's a huge hit every year. We have our student DJ and PDM staff member, Rainier. He's quickly become a crowd favorite. He provides us with an incredible DJ set for the past 2 years. He's incredibly devoted to our organization, and the participants just love him. And then last but not least, our Circle of Hope. Prior to total reveal, our participants gather in a big circle for a ceremony led by the PDM president. The ceremony basically recognizes the reason we dance and the need for the dance marathon movement. And then at the end of the speech, our morale team goes around and cuts off our participant wristbands, and the cutting of those wristbands symbolizes hope for the future. So last but not least, how can I customize this to fit my program? So most importantly, you need to identify what your program really needs, what's most important to your staff and participants. This is done really well by gathering participant feedback to identify these needs, like we talked about earlier. The surveys, verbal feedback, things like that are really important in recognizing what is important to your staff and participants. And then also recognizing your strengths and weaknesses as an organization. Being able to recognize those strengths and those weaknesses helps you grow as a board and also as an organization.
Absolutely. And creating and adapting event traditions that participants enjoy each year based on yearly feedback. We were able to do this with silent disco. We do it with our in-event competitions, our dance-offs, lip sync battle, you name it. We're always looking for ways to improve, and we want to hear from the people who are going to attend year after year. So they're the most important part of our event, and we really appreciate any feedback that they can give us, whether it's a whole group of color war teams or just one person. Anything can make a difference year after year. And working as a team to brainstorm potential day of issues and adjustments. We're always on the lookout for things that could possibly go wrong. Obviously, we're always trying to stay optimistic, but being aware of things that might be too big or too small to do at the time. Always make sure you're on your A game, and looking out for things that could go wrong is always a good way to think.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's all that we have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching our presentation. If you have any questions at all, we encourage you to reach out to either of us via email or on our PDM socials. But that's all that we have. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Hail the kids.